A first-class university essay is defined by a controlled argument where you act as an authoritative guide. We are diving straight into the source material today from academics like Ursula Hackett, Roberts, and Williams, because most capable students plateau at a 2.1.
Right, and they plateau because they treat the essay like a voyage of discovery where they just work out their thoughts on the page, or they rely on plagiphrasing.
Plagiarizing, just stringing together paraphrases of other people's work.
Exactly. That or excessive signposting. They spend so much time narrating what they will do instead of actually delivering an analytical argument.
So in this deep dive, we are walking you step by step through the process. Analysis, argumentation, structure, paragraphing sources, and strategic editing. It all starts with analyzing the question itself at a high level.
You really have to dissect the command terms first. If a prompt says, "to what extent," it is demanding you determine the comparator class.
You have to know what is being compared against what.
Right. Hackett uses this great example of defining a crusade. If you define it narrowly as just a pilgrimage to Jerusalem, your argument goes one specific way. If you define it broadly as any holy war, you are writing a totally different essay.
A standard descriptive answer just talks about crusades. But a sophisticated answer identifies that underlying conceptual debate immediately.
Which leads perfectly into generating a clear, defensible argument. Hackett has a golden rule here. Spill the beans.
I mean, academic essays are not murder mysteries.
No, they really aren't. You don't hide the killer until the last page. The take-home message must be on page 1.
It is the difference between a safe thesis like, "This essay concerns the economic factors of the war," versus a strong one like, "The primary driver was Z, not Y."
You are moving from a topic to a proposition. It has to be a single grammatical sentence that states the absolute verdict.
And that verdict dictates your structure, which is intellectual architecture, not just formatting. We need to avoid that voyage of discovery structure we mentioned.
Well, Hackett has this brilliant analogy of the unreliable brother.
The code analogy.
Yes. A meandering structure is like an unreliable brother who says he knows where your code is, but then just drags you from room to room, opening every random drawer. It is exhausting for the reader.
You are the guide. Every single paragraph has to logically advance the thesis.
So when we look at writing those analytical paragraphs, we rely on Williams' formula. Topic sentence, explanation, evidence, and crucially comment or evaluation.
That evaluation is the so what test. Average students just drop a quote and move on.
Right. But if you omit that final comment, you leave the reader asking, so what? This is where the marks are. You have to explicitly link it back to your argument.
It is the shift from just describing a theory to actually evaluating its limitations. And that directly applies to integrating your sources critically, too.
Roberts frames this as the strong author versus the weak author. A weak author just passively cites literature.
Like saying Smith says X. It's just, quote, hopping.
Exactly. A strong author uses specific reporting verbs. You say, a scholar contends this or neglects that. You use sources to support your argument, not replace it.
So once that draft is structurally sound, you move to strategic editing for that first-class standard. Hackett calls this the be ruthless rule.
You have to cut all the background fluff. You do not need to write, the U.S. is a large country.
And cut the excessive signposting, like, in this essay I will.
You also need to remove compulsive hedging, words like arguably or to some extent.
Replace them with precise qualifiers. Specify exactly under what conditions your statement holds true. That shows genuine academic confidence.
So to recap your mental blueprint, spill the beans with a clear take-home message in paragraph 1. Ruthlessly remove background fluff, use a strong author voice when citing, and explicitly evaluate your evidence to answer, so what?
Remember, high-level writing is a learnable procedure. It is not a mystical talent.
Your immediate action item before you start your next essay is the Aesop's Fable exercise. Draft your take-home message as one single decisive sentence.
If you can't state the verdict in one sentence, you are not ready to write. And as you refine that verdict, ask yourself, what happens to your argument if the core assumptions built into your professor's prompt are fundamentally flawed?